Cheers and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I'm going to be looking at something political. This is every political ideology explained in 8 minutes from the YouTuber The Paint Explainer. I'm also going to be popping in to just a meme that I remember from a while back, which was World Ideologies, but if they were cows. So I'm curious to see what what they will have in common and how the explanations will differ, if they'll differ. So anyway, the first one is the YouTube video. So at some point the YouTube video will end and I'll just be doing like a reading essentially, but that could be fun. So this one is every political ideology explained in 8 minutes with these fun little guys. Look at these fun little guys. Anyway, let's go.
Conservatism, as the name suggests, tries to conserve traditional values. In Western culture, conservatives usually promote the nuclear family, organized religion, the military, and property rights. Liberalism. Liberalism is usually cited as the dominant ideology in modern history. It usually likes that every single individual has his own rights, that the government has to be approved by its own people, and that everyone should be treated the same way before the law. It also likes free markets, elections between multiple political parties, a separation of powers into different branches of the government, a separation of religion from the government, a set of fundamental values written in the Constitution, privacy rights, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. Moderatism. Moderatism likes to stay within what is called.
I like that it's pretty clear right off the bat that the creator of this video was like has much more favorable outlook on liberalism than conservatism. Just like based on conservatism is these three things really quick. Liberalism has all of these things.
Called the Overton window, which is the range of policies politically acceptable to the mainstream population. In most cases, moderates are apolitical, which means that they don't care, but they have a little bit of knowledge about politics. Capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system based on the private ownership of the means of production and their operation for profit. The central characteristics of capitalism are private property, free exchange, competition, division of labor, and social cooperation. Socialism.
And the rich get richer, poor get poorer. That's also a pretty big tenet of capitalism. They're not going to say that out loud, but that's what happens.
There are many types of socialism, making this an umbrella term. In the classical sense, socialism describes worker-owned means of production, heavily supporting worker coups, democratic self-management, and workplace democracy. Socialism in the modern age advocates workers' democratic self-management, high taxation on the wealthy, and nationalization of key parts of industry. One of its key values is social ownership. Syndicalism. Syndicalism is the son of socialism, and it believes that unionization of the workforce, the establishment of local, decentralized revolutionary worker organizations called syndicates, and advancement of workers' demands through the use of strikes and direct action are the best methods by which a socialist society should be achieved. Once a post-capitalist society is achieved, a congress or commune of syndicates would be created to represent the many unions or areas of the economy.
I just can't think of syndicate without thinking about crime syndicates, like immediately.
For a central government. Corporatism. Corporatism advocates
this is what happens in frickin' Cyberpunk, right? Like this is like dystopian, like I don't know if this happens in the movie that with Ryan Gosling, or like the first one had Harrison Ford and he was maybe a robot. Oh god. And the second one had Ryan Gosling in it. I don't, that one, you know, but that future movie. That one. Corporate, right? I've never seen it and I've forgotten what it's called. So good job, me.
Organization of society in different areas of employment, like agriculture, military, engineering, etc., which people get assigned to based on their interests and skills. It believes in a cross-class system of regulation in which the workers, employers, and state negotiate with one another in order to most efficiently run the economy and satisfy, in theory, all parties involved. It does not refer to a political system dominated by large business interests.
Okay, so not what I was thinking. And so I made a fool of myself because this is like a very popular movie and I don't remember what it's called. So yell at me in the comments about that one, I guess.
That would be a corporatocracy. Libertarianism. Libertarianism upholds liberty as a core value, and it seeks to maximize autonomy and political freedom.
I like the little guy. No step! don't, because it's the don't tread on me flag, but no step.
Likes a very limited government. It believes in the same principles of liberalism, such as equality before the law and the basic rights to life, liberty, and property. Separatism. Separatism
With the Slade mask, really? That has got to be a call out to the Deathstroke mask, right? Right? It has to be.
also commonly known as secessionism, seeks to establish a nation, country, sovereign state, or government that is separate from an already existing nation. Communism. Communism is centered around common ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange that allocates products to everyone in society based on need. A communist society doesn't have private property, social classes, money, or the state. Feminism. Feminism aims to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. It holds the position that societies prioritize the male point of view and that women are treated unjustly in these societies. Efforts to change this include fighting against gender stereotypes and improving educational and professional opportunities for women. Anarchism. Anarchism is an ideology that advocates for a society without rulers or constituted authority, with a focus on the notion of freedom. It advocates for the replacement of the state with stateless societies and voluntary free associations. Environmentalism. Environmentalism, sometimes called green politics, is a term used to represent a range of ideologies that fall under the belief that nature should be a significant factor in deciding public policy, be it increasing recycling, decreasing CO2 emissions, stopping water pollution, etc. Populism. It focuses on appealing to a large number of people and their sensibilities, believing that what the masses want must be what the masses get. It can take on many forms, as its only requirement is that it represents a movement by the people for the people. This causes it to have no real political affiliation. It's often associated with democracies due to its reliance on popular support. It often divides the people from the elite, and it's frequently anti-establishment and anti-politics. Republicanism. Republicanism is an ideology centered around a system of government that is non-hereditary and, in opposition to monarchism, gives political power to its citizens in a state organized as a republic. Progressivism.
It is interesting, too, to see how some of these words have definitely been slightly changed based on just the world and how it is in general. So it's some of these words, it's the word itself and the original context of it, it's oh, that sounds great, but then things have changed the actual meaning of it or the perceived meaning of it. I think that's interesting.
Progressivism says that heritage that stems from the past is not to be held sacred and should instead be viewed as less important than societal progress. It's basically the opposite of conservatism. Imperialism.
I think that the culture, because that feels like you're getting rid of culture, and I feel like that's important to sort of keep a cornerstone of, I mean, as long as ultimately equality is reached, keeping a hold of some of those old traditions and stuff, that can be really nice. I think that's necessary. We want to keep everything, we don't want everything to be samey. We want everyone to be able to do their own thing, as long as they're not actively hurting anybody else. And by default, if things are not equal, if everyone doesn't have an equal right to life, liberty, and all of that, that's intrinsically harming them. But traditions can be nice.
Imperialism has traditionally believed a country should expand its power or influence through military action. It was once very popular, and it was basically considerable as moderatism, but it has decreased in popularity over the years. Imperialism is noted for its war advocacy and belief that the powerful nations should rule over the weaker ones. It usually defends himself against accusations of oppression by insisting that colonized people benefit because the richer nations help them and give them things they couldn't get normally.
But they were fine before!
Egalitarianism. Egalitarianism is a school of thought that builds on the concept of social equality, prioritizing it for all people. As such, all citizens of a state should be accorded equal rights and treatment under the law. Transhumanism. Transhumanism believes that everyone should upgrade themselves with technology to overcome both the most basic and most complex of humanity's challenges. The ultimate objective is for all people to reach immortality and an incredibly advanced mind and body.
Horrifying.
Communitarianism.
No. Anti.
Communitarianism is an ideology that emphasizes the well-being of and the importance of the community as the primary social unit. It will typically stress the idea that the left-right binary of politics is holding politics back, as well as argue that policies from both sides of the spectrum are complementary and necessary to benefit the community. It believes that absolute individualism is harmful when it contradicts the common good.
I can
Authoritarianism.
see that.
Authoritarianism is a
Also
form of
bad.
government characterized by a strong power, which is usually central, that demands obedience to authority and limited political and civil freedoms. For example, most classic monarchies are a form of authoritarianism. The ruler of an authoritarian country imprisons and persecutes its opponents. Fascism. Fascism
bad.
says that people are weak.
We're getting into like the really terrible ones now, it looks like. I mean, it's been interesting about like how they've decided to intersperse some really, really horrible things with some like more normal things or some more like things that are considered better now, you know? Like that's interesting the way that they've decided to lay these out.
Divided, but strong united under the banner, whether that banner be of a state, nation, army, or anything of the like. It is authoritarian, which means that it's characterized by a controlling government that rejects the idea that people can vote between multiple parties. It involves a strong central power, which usually refers to a dictator, so it rejects separation of power. Fascism is also ultranationalist, which is the belief that a nation shouldn't care about other nations' rights as long as it benefits itself. Ultranationalism usually coexists with militarism, which is the idea that a nation should have a powerful enough military to expand national interests and values. Fascism suppresses opposition using forceful methods. It believes in a natural social hierarchy, and it promotes the refusal of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation or race. Nazism. Nazism is a form of fascism with a focus on its racist ideology, which says that the Aryan race is superior. It believes that the Aryan race should rule the rest of the world to make it better, thus being ultranationalist. To be classified as an Aryan by the Nazis, you have to be white, straight, mentally and physically able, non-cowardice, and non-Jewish. If you
Well, looking back, let's see how many of
You are
those that I actually. I'm just curious. I can't go back. I hate this thing. Sometimes it lets me just kind of like go back slow, and sometimes it doesn't. All right, so I have ADHD, so that probably means that they wouldn't like me for that. I am white. I'm not straight. I'm pretty weak, and like, so I don't like, and I'm like super blind. Like, there's that too. Like, and think about me in the 40s, okay? So my vision, I wear contacts with my glasses. My glasses are like a -12. Which is like, everyone's like, what are you? It's like, I'm so blind, I'm at -5. I'm like, baby girl, I was a -5 when I was like 14 years old. Like, that ship has long since sailed. So like, my glasses are like this thick. It's so bad. Like, I am very, like, without correction. I'm lucky in that I can still have my vision corrected, but also like my vision has correction for my vision has been considered medically necessary for me since I was like 15 years old, probably before that, but like, yeah, no, they wouldn't have liked me. I mean, I already knew they wouldn't have liked me, but like, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm not mad about that. That's okay. I'm just like, I'm like, okay, my mental stuff. Like, I'm like, I got the white part, and I don't think I'm Jewish. So I think I've got two things that means they wouldn't want to kill me, which is not great. But also, I feel like it's not no. Oh well. I feel like there are worse things than being somebody the Nazis don't like, right? They can fucking hate me. I fucking hate them. Let's destroy the Nazis. Let's go. Is there a party about that? Is there a political ideology that's just like, let's destroy all the Nazis forever?
Non-cowardice and non-Jewish. If you are considered non-Aryan, you are called Untermensch, which means subhuman. It also likes eugenics, a set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the
Yep, I'm not perfect. Like I said about my eyes, remember that? Also, I've got neurofibromatosis, which is a super fun little nerve tumor disease. It's mostly safe in general, but it does mean that where nerves congregate, tumors can grow. So they wouldn't like that either about me.
genetic quality of a human population. For that reason, people with inherited disorders are considered useless eaters and were killed or sent to camps on sight as they were regarded as life unworthy of life. Nazism also hates homosexuals, considering them Untermensch as well. I'll be making similar videos. Subscribe to see them.
Okay, so that was the video about political ideologies. Some of those I didn't realize were political ideologies. Some of them I'd never heard of before. Okay, and I did want to look at this world ideologies as explained by references to cows. This is just something that I remember being a thing. And look at all of my tabs. You can see what I've been doing today. I have filmed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos today. But anyway, I wanted to share this. Is there a way to zoom in? I want to zoom. I want to press. No. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll just look at this. This is fine. Feudalism. You have 2 cows. Your lord takes some of the milk. Socialism. You have 2 cows. The government takes them and puts them in a barn with everyone else's cows. You have to take care of all of the cows. The government gives you a glass of milk. Great. Fascism. You have 2 cows. The government takes both, hires you to take care of them, and sells you the milk. Pure communism. You share 2 cows with your neighbors. You and your neighbors bicker about who has the most ability and who has the most need. Meanwhile, no one works, no one gets any milk, and the cows drop dead of starvation. Okay. Russian communism. Like Russian communism. You have 2 cows. You have to... that's not a Russian accent. I want to try. You have 2 cows. You have to take... Nope, that's not it either. It keeps going for German. I used to be able to do a really good Russian accent. What are you doing? You have 2 cows. You have to take care of them. But the government takes all the milk. You steal back as much milk as you can and sell it on the black market. There, that's as good as that's gonna get, I think. Alright, so perestroika. You have 2 cows, you have to take care of them, but the mafia takes all the milk. You steal back as much milk as you can and sell it on the free market, as opposed to the black market. Cambodian communism. You have 2 cows. The government takes both and shoots you. Yikes. Dictatorship. You have 2 cows. The government takes both and drafts you to go get shot. Pure democracy. You have 2 cows. Your neighbors decide who gets the milk. Representative democracy. You have 2 cows. Your neighbors pick someone to tell you who gets the milk. Bureaucracy. You have 2 cows. At first, the government regulates what you can feed them and when you can milk them. Then it pays you not to milk them. Then it takes both, shoots one, milks the other, and pours the milk down the drain. Then it requires you to fill out forms accounting for the missing cows. That does sound like democracy. Capitalism. You don't have any cows. The bank will not lend you money to buy cows because you don't have any cows to put up as collateral. Sounds right. Pure anarchy. You have 2 cows. Either you sell the milk at a fair price or your neighbors try to take the cows and kill you. How very Mad Max of them. Anarcho-capitalism. You have 2 cows. You sell one and buy a bull. Oh yeah. Surrealism. You have 2 giraffes. The government requires you to take harmonica lessons. And then these are, now we're just getting silly. Now we're just getting silly up in here. Olympicsism. You have 2 cows, one American, one Chinese. With the help of trilling violins and state-of-the-art montage photography, John Tesh narrates the moving tale of how the American cow overcame the agony of growing up in a suburb with divorced parents. Then mentions in passing that the Chinese cow was beaten every day by a tyrannical farmer and watched as its parents butchered before its eyes. The American cow wins the competition, severely spraining an udder in a gritty performance, and gets a multi-million-dollar contract to endorse Wheaties. The Chinese cow was let out of the arena and shot by Chinese government officials, though no one ever hears about it. McDonald's buys the meat and serves it hot and fast at its Beijing restaurant. American corporate capitalism. Both cows are bloated with toxic steroids. They are set out to graze on privatized public parks, privatized public parks, that's a fun one, release massive amounts of flatulence that destroys the ozone layer, die from excess ultraviolet light, and are processed into meat-like products that look great as a result of clever and unprincipled marketing strategies. When you mortgage your artificially devalued farm at high interest rates develop terminal illnesses because there is no healthcare plan to treat you. The corporate management uses your purchase price to acquire their meat from cows raised naturally on free rainforest land outside the country where labor and resources are cheap. British representative democracy. Both cows are mad. And that is various ideologies as explained by cows. And it's just, that's just one that I've enjoyed for a while. I remember that coming around in college, for at least some of it. Some of this is new to me. I never saw the Olympic stuff or the perestroika. Like, I never saw that before. There was some of these I think I've seen before and some I hadn't, which is just fun. And you know what? If you hadn't seen the world ideologies as explained by references to cows, then you're welcome, because it always makes me chuckle every single time. So anyway, this was a weird video, just for fun. We're just doing something a little different today. So thank you for joining me with this one. Just so you know, you can get some membership opportunities here on this channel. You'll get some extra videos, some early videos, all of that. This is going to end up being one of those, so it will go up publicly eventually, but if you're seeing this early, thank you for being a member. And again, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.